Well, howdy, y'all. It's everybody's favorite block of sentient cheese and crudely designed holiday mascot, Cheezers. Some of y'all might be wondering what I'm doing here. Y'all might be asking yourself, Cheezers, it's Cheezers Day. Why aren't you handing out yummy blocks of cheese to all the good people of Atlas Park? You should be throwing huge wheels of the good stuff off the tallest building, the 95-story Kinko's. Well, it's been a while since we last saw Ray, and due to poor scheduling and insane family gatherings, 2 months have passed since our last episode. So I was asked, and let's be honest, practically demanded to do a recap so y'alls were caught up and ready to enjoy our second installment of Ray Costly and the Court of Red. Don't become a corporate tool, kiddies. It's a sad, painful life, being forced to be so cheerful all the time. I don't even really like cheese. It's like eating my own kin. Anyway, you didn't come here to hear about your friend Cheezer's crippling depression. Y'all came here to get that recap. So, before I start crying again, let's get to it. Ray Costly, everyone's favorite ghostly detective, and his undead counterpart Other Ray, were just enjoying a nice, mind-numbingly boring day in their office when they just so happened to see their best friend and underage driver, Eldridge Jenny, being taken into Atlas Park's police station on counts of murder. Murder, I tells you. Well, the Rays just know something is up, so they climb into Jenny's sentient El Camino that is supposedly taking them to the police station. Meanwhile, Jenny's now in a cell between two of Atlas Park's biggest villains, Dr. Phantasmo and Slysicle. I mean, when you think about it, Slysicle has been the only one to do any real damage to Atlas Park and its residents, but Phantasmo gets really upset when you don't acknowledge him. So there you go, baby. You're such a meanie, aren't you? Aren't you? Oh, yes you are. Anyway, the two villains speak to Jenny about something horrible going down in the police station, and before she can comprehend what's going on, a blood-red portal opens and out steps a beast known as Bellix, who claims to be the right hand of Jenny's real father, a creature known as the Mad King Archimedes. Bellix plans on taking Jenny back to a real home for reasons unknown. And there you have it, folks. The Rays are speeding off to what they hope is the police station, while Jenny is unfortunately about to be carried off into a horrible realm of unknown horrors. Just the kind of story y'all need this holiday season. Well, my job is done. My name is Cheezers, and I'll be going back into my designated cell block in the basement of Eldridge Consulting and Lawn Chair Production, located down in beautiful downtown Atlas Park. Go grab some grub, enjoy the many root beer clubs and bars, and while you're at it, why not free your old pal Cheezers from his imprisonment, huh? There's only one guard in the dead of night. It would be the perfect time to free. Ray Costly, Ghostly Detective, and the Court of Red, Part 2. Both Rays had assumed that Jenny's El Camino was taking them towards the police station, where the young eldritch horror was now locked away in a cell like some sort of criminal. It roared through the main streets of Atlas Park, just barely missing oncoming traffic and shocked pedestrians. A poor mobile fruit stand was destroyed in the car's race, oranges and apples falling to the ground in wet, sloppy piles. There would have been more remorse shown by the townsfolk of Atlas Park, but this was a fruit stand, and fruits were terrible. Now, if the local cheese and chocolate stand had been destroyed, there would have been mass riots in the streets. The people of Atlas Park don't have their priorities straight, is what I'm trying to tell you. The Black El Camino changed course out of nowhere, veering down one of the many side streets that littered this confusing city. Both Rays looked towards one another with concern. This wasn't the way to the police station, not even remotely close. Hey, Car? Do I call you Car? Did Jenny name you? I have no idea. Anyway, isn't the police station the other way?
Yeah, there's nothing down here but the industrial parks.
Why would we be heading towards a bunch of warehouses? The car offered no reply. It was a self-moving car, yes, but it didn't have the ability to speak. Come on now, that would just be ridiculous.
Ray, look!
What the heck? The sight before the two rays was almost indescribable, but since I am the narrator, I suppose it's my job to try and explain it. Bilkins Boulevard Biscuits was one of the most well-known biscuit warehouses in all of Atlas Park. How many biscuit warehouses could one city possibly have, you might find yourself asking? Well, and this is just a ballpark estimate, there are about 49 biscuit warehouses in and around Atlas Park. No one really knows why there's such a need for that many warehouses, but Bilkins Boulevard Biscuits had to be the most famous one. It's because they made their biscuits with real, farm-raised plutonium. The warehouse had looked like a bomb had gone off in it, a bomb made of some cosmic, eldritch material. The stone building was falling apart, and though the many holes and broken mirrors, long, blue tentacles poured out, slapping upon the ground and forming a writhing, wiggling pool. As the car got closer, the two detectives noticed that each tentacle had dozens of blood-red eyes and gnashing teeth, all still moving about. All crimson orbs seemed to lock onto the car as it got closer and closer to the building, but no tentacle moved to attack. The scene was, well, it was very easily the weirdest thing that the Rays had seen in the past couple of weeks. Soon, the car parked and opened its doors, a pretty clear message to the Rays that this was the end of their journey, at least for now. Why did we stop here of all places? What's a biscuit warehouse have to do with anything that's going on tonight? And furthermore, what even is a biscuit warehouse? I mean, I know we have a lot of them around the city, but what even are they?
Do you think this might be where Jenny supposedly committed the murders?
What makes you say that, friendo? Other Ray pointed at all the tentacles, whose eyes were still locked on the both of them in their car. That's as good of a guess as we're getting, I suppose. Come on, let's go in.
We're just going to walk in?
That was the plan, yeah.
But what if those tentacles try to attack us?
So what? It's not like they can even hit us. Other Ray stared at his ghost counterpart for a few moments in awkward silence. Oh, shoot, that's right. I'm the only one who's transparent. I can't believe I forgot that. Well, I'm sure you'll be fine. I mean, you're already undead. Plus, you're super strong or something.
So glad you have such a disregard for your body now, Ray. Really makes me feel special.
The car blared its horn, a warning for them to get both of their butts inside the crumbling building. Maybe the car's the killer, and we're its next victims.
Oh, what happened to neither of us getting hurt?
Oh, don't even start with me, mister. I will take my body back if you keep acting like that.
Empty threat.
The car blared its horn once again, causing both Rays to jump. With a look of disgust at one another, they turned to face the tentacle-filled building, heading towards the surprisingly intact opening and soon disappearing into the darkness. The El Camino stayed motionless as it watched the two entering the biscuit warehouse. It soon shut off its lights and motor, silence filling the cold winter air as it waited. For what, exactly? None could tell. Like I said, the car can't speak, stop thinking that it can.
All of this seems so odd.
Yeah? You mean the fact that our friend is in jail for murder, or the fact that we're in a biscuit warehouse filled to the brim with these slimy tentacles?
I was kind of going for both of those things being odd.
Yeah, I can definitely say this is not how I was expecting to spend my night.
The tentacles don't even seem to be attached to anything. They just go on for miles and miles.
They aren't even attacking us. Heck, they're barely moving. The sound of hushed whispers stopped the rays dead in their tracks. It seemed to be coming only a little further down the path they were already on. The voices continued. One seemed concerned, frightened even, while the other was very stern and straight to the point.
Who the heck is that?
I don't know. I can't see in all this darkness. Other Ray slowly turned to look at his ghost companion with a look of confusion. The ghost simply slumped his shoulders and put a hand up to his face. Oh my gosh, for the last time, ghosts don't have night vision.
Then what good is it being a ghost?
Well, the not getting hit by things seems to be a pretty good trade-off, if I'm honest. Plus, I don't need to shower anymore.
Not like you did much of that when you were living.
Hey, that might be true, but you don't get to ridicule me, alright? The whispers seemed to stop as the rays grew louder in their argument. Then, replacing the whispers came the sounds of feet clacking against the concrete floor. They seemed quick, almost like the ones moving towards the rays were running at a dead sprint. If one were to listen close enough, they'd also hear the sound of tiny wheels spinning on the ground. Shoot! They heard you! Why were you so loud?
Wait, we're blaming me now?
Seems like the easiest thing to do, so, yep, that's exactly what I'm doing.
This is so typical of you.
Really? Really? You want to do this right now? We should be working on getting the heck out of here before what's ever coming towards us finds us.
And here I remembered a certain ghostly detective saying that I could take a couple of hits and be okay.
Oh, friggin' cheesers, I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I said that. You're not just a convenient punching bag. You're also my best friend.
I should be mad. Know that I should be mad at you. But I also know that's the best I'm going to get in terms of an apology. So fine, let's get moving.
But it was much too late to hide in the shadows. Before a single step could be taken, the mysterious figures had revealed themselves to the two rays. They were an odd couple, to say the least. Not two people you would expect to find talking to one another, let alone hanging out in an abandoned biscuit warehouse filled with tentacles. The first one to reveal himself was a tall, scrawny man, with olive-colored skin and black hair that was starting to grow little spots of white here and there. His attire consisted of a pair of light blue overalls and a pair of bright yellow boots that looked as if they had seen better days. Before him was a mop and bucket, which must have been where the sound of wheels was coming from. Despite the very realistic possibility that he could have been some sort of enemy, this man held a warm, almost inviting smile upon his slightly wrinkled face. The other person was something else entirely. They looked as if they were in some sort of containment suit, consisting of deep purples and grays. The suit was of a rather average build, not super muscular, but also not as scrawny as the man right next to the suit. Its head was a tube filled with sickly green liquid, two skulls floating around inside the fluids. The creature's arms were crossed over its chest, and though the skulls could not move, the rays could just tell that the skulls were glaring at them with serious intent. I know these two. They're the detectives my daughter drives around. Ray and other Ray. Howdy, boys. Hi, I'm sorry. Are you Jenny's father?
Wait, you're just a guy? Like no weird tentacles or anything?
Don't answer them. How do you know they can be trusted?
Oh, don't be like that, Mr. Dethorn.
Professor.
Pardon?
Professor Dethorn, not Mr. Dethorn.
Golly, I didn't know it meant so much to you. Many apologies, sir.
I just don't think it's really so unreasonable to show a bit of respect. I'm trying to help you, after all.
All right, geez. No need to get so uppity with me, Junior. Yes, I am Jenny's father. Well, one of her fathers. The name is Dale, and this grumpy Gus next to me is Professor Maximilian Dethorn.
Charmed, I'm sure. What is your purpose for being here?
Well, we're trying to figure out what happened to Eldritch Jenny.
It's very obvious what happened to her. She was framed.
I kind of assumed that, thanks, but now I need to know by whom and for what purpose.
I already know the answers to those questions as well, so there really is no reason for a ghost and his undead corpse to be here interrupting my planning.
Oh, you know already. Well, why don't you enlighten us, Professor?
I don't need to enlighten you on anything, Mr. Costly. You or the dead body you have standing next to you. This is no longer a petty case of the weird. This has become a potential threat to our very reality. As such, this is no longer your case. This case has been taken over by me and the rest of the Manhattan Project.
The Manhattan Project? That group disbanded forever ago.
That is untrue, Ray Costly, and that is also the last bit of information you will be getting from me. Now, if you would be so kind as to leave.
Her father.
Dale, I suggest you keep your mouth shut until we are alone.
That's Jenny's friend, Dethorn. They deserve to know.
Know what?
The person who framed my little Jenny, the person who killed everyone in this warehouse, was the one who gave birth to her. Her father, the Mad King Archimedes.